What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Tej pack. Tej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun. And a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Tej Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tej Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tej Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tej Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tej pack. Feel the Tej, my friends. Oh, brother. Looks like we're, as usual, doing something with the camera. So we're going to go ahead and get that popping. Let's see if we can get this right. Let's see if we can get this camera right, ladies and gentlemen, and then we're going to get into the show. You know what this is? I had an update today. Let me spin this around. Let me see something. I had an update today, and let's see if we can do it like this. No worries. We're going to fix this one way or another. I had an update today, and so we're gonna rock out how we gonna do. I had an update today with the software, but either way, we're gonna get it popping. So first and foremost, I want to thank you. I appreciate y'all for continuing to rock with me. Anton at AntonDaniels.com. Give a shout out to our main sponsor, Tej Henley. 30% off your first order plus a free gift. We're going to get it popping. In addition to that, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I love you guys. I appreciate you for always continuing to rock with me. I want to deep dive into this Adidas deal. Now, one thing that I did do, not going to waste any time. We are in downtown Detroit. One thing that I did do, and let me show you, let me give y'all a little bit of a idea of what we got going on here. So we got a lot of different things going on all over there. We are in downtown Detroit. This is a part of the content creation space. We got a lot of things going on. We got a lot of different things coming into the fold. So I appreciate everybody for continuing to rock with me. I did drop the link into the description. I dropped it, pinned it to the top of the chat, but I definitely want to drop it in the description also because I did not do that. So let me make sure that I drop it in the description. I want to go over this Kanye West Adidas deal. So I'm going to have 4 people up at a time. 4 people up at a time for y'all to be able to give us your insight and your information as to what it is that you think is happening. Whether or not you think that Kanye West is actually going to become more successful as a result of it, or whether you think this is a bad deal when he actually fumbled the bag and you think that he's not in a good space as a result of it. But again, I want to invite you guys to be able to tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat, and we're going to get it popping. So before I bring anybody up, let me just go over this deal really quickly. Let's see if I can get something popping. New York Times seems to be a credible source. All right, yep. Let's go with the New York Times. Let's go with New York Times. Let's see what we got here. All right. So New York Times is saying that Adidas is ending its partnership with Kanye Ye. We're gonna put some respect on his name, Ye at a considerable cost. The German sportswear giant is the latest company to cut ties with the rapper and the designer after his recent Semitic outbursts and other provocations, ending the long-running partnership is expected to put a big dent in profit at Adidas. So who's suffering the most here? Is it Kanye West or is it Adidas? And again, I'm going to open a link up for you guys to be able to tap in and be able to have this conversation. But let's just get a general idea of what's going on. So Adidas said on Tuesday that it was cutting ties with Ye. Now, on one hand, I have to say that, this is a pretty big deal, right? Because allegedly, well, let me just read this. The company, which had faced increasing calls in recent days to terminate its relationship with Ye, as Mr. West is now known, said the move could cost it 250 million euros or $246 million this year. So think about that. Costing it, that's not in sales, that is in revenue, that is in profitability. So you're talking about 1 quarter in which it absolutely positively supports a huge portion of your business. I'm going to just tell you, Adidas was nothing in the basketball world, and largely, I mean, in the running community, it was a big deal. In the soccer world, obviously, they do what they do. But as far as you talking about one man and how it is that he's moved is in control of potentially $250 million in 1 quarter. That is huge. Okay, let's continue. They ended their nearly decade-long partnership, which was seen as enormously lucrative for both Ye and Adidas, raised questions of what would come next for Ye, who has been one of the most influential pop stars of recent decades. But check this out. Check out who else is cutting ties with him. CAA, Ye's former talent agency, no longer represents him, and Def Jam, his longtime record company, said that his contract had expired last year. Is this the question that I want to ask y'all as we go through this? Is this actually a strategy deployed by Ye to get out of all of his contracts so that he can completely control his destiny and his fate rather than partnering with a bunch of these other companies? Adidas does not tolerate it. Okay, yeah, we got all of that. The company, which was based in Germany, said it would terminate the partnership immediately in production of Yeezy-branded products and stop payments to Ye and his companies. Over the past month, Mr. West tested the boundaries of acceptable behavior, even for a noted provocateur like himself, at his Yeezy Season 9 Paris fashion show. He wore a short shirt, White Lives Matters. Instagram and Twitter suspended Ye's accounts. Ari Emanuel of Endeavor, a parent company of talent agency WME, called on the entertainment companies to stop working with Ye. So now here's the thing. Here's the thing that we asking ourselves. You got these powerful people that are then pulling the strings, and they're doing the same thing that Boosie and T.I. was, well, not Boosie, but T.I. was allegedly trying to do to Charleston White and was saying, yo, I'm going to call all of my friends and I'm going to see if they can get your contracts terminated. Where they do that at? Balenciaga, the fashion house that had partnered with Ye in his Easy Gap project, which came to an end in September and opened his runway show in Paris this month with the modeling stick by Ye, deleted him from its pictures and videos of the show. Similar images disappeared from Vogue. And the magazine stated it had no intention of working with Ye in the future. MRC, the studio, was shelving a documentary on him. Adidas was among the first corporate partners to announce publicly on October 6th that it had placed a relationship under review, and the fact that the company did move faster than officially, the several ties begin with a toll. Interesting. Because all of the shoes that they was dropping was still selling out. League stepped up its pressure on Adidas this week after members of a hate group hung a banner reading Kanye is right about the Jews over a Los Angeles freeway. Founder of Adidas belonged to the Nazi Party, and his factory was forced to produce munitions in the final years of the war. Wow. I never even knew this. It was only thanks to sworn statement of a Jewish friend that he was allowed to found the present-day company after World War II ended. Anti-Semitic statements made online could lead to the prosecution in Germany, and companies with ties to the Nazi era are expected to act to prevent the return of such sentiment. A's pressure on the company mounted in the United States in recent days, and its leadership remains largely silent, frustrating even its own executives. Wow. Adidas shares. Now, here's the part that we want to pay attention to. Adidas shares are down more than 7%, their lowest since 2016. The company's stock has fallen over 20% in the last month as Ye has embarked on his latest outrageous behavior. That's because Ye has been saying that he's been going to terminate his relationship anyway. The company said it expected the move to have a short-term negative impact of up to $250 million on its profit this year, just in one quarter. Wow. That's pretty insane. Ye still owns the Yeezy trademark. However, Adidas said in a statement that it was the sole owner of all the design rights to existing products that came out of the partnership, as well as the previous new colorways arising from the collaboration. So Ye basically owns the name and he owns everything that comes along with it. But if they drop any more sneakers, then they're going to have to pay Ye for it. So that's a power move. All right, so let's deep dive into this. Let me bring up my boy Soldier for Christ. Let me get to the super chat first. Bitcoin Brown says, yeah, I think Ye is a massive force in the business world, but being cut off from all major companies, not sure how the numbers will continue to look for him. Interesting. Appreciate the insight and wisdom and time. Let's break it down, y'all. Let's break it down. And the link is pinned to the top of the chat for anybody that want to come up and had a conversation. So let me go ahead and pull this down. All right. I'm going to pull y'all up and we're going to get it popping. Give me 1 second. Let's do it like this. I wonder what Jay Prince thinks about this. Soldier for Christ is in the building. What's going on, my friend?
What's happening? What's happening?
Chilling, bro. What's the word? What do you think about everything that's going on here?
I think it's absolutely crazy, but it's a true testament to the state in which we are living in now. That offense culture is the ruling class.
Okay.
In other words, one thing that was so poignant that you said in that is that everybody is so focused on the statement, but not the underlying cause. So all they want to do is throw a Band-Aid over what he said and not actually address the reality that underpinned the statement. Sure, the statement might have been bad, perhaps to some, but if we don't deal with the root cause, we'll never get rid of the cancer.
What do you think the root cause is?
There's a lot. At the end of the day, the religious answer is sin, greed. Part of me blames the church because I grew up in the church. You know, if somebody offended you by saying God's name in vain, you were supposed to tell them you were offended and not to do that around you. And I wonder how much of that permeated out from the church into the world, you know, and now the world has taken a hold of it and twisted it. And I don't think it was a biblical model to begin with, because Jesus said, many will be offended for my name. What are you doing? Like, so it's gonna happen. We're supposed to suffer through it as believers, at least,
Right.
and not um, trample on people that are of the world.
Do you think that
You
money
know,
is the thing that derailed us in a general sense, or do you think it was something else?
well, no, I would say that money is not the problem. It's the love of money. Sure, that the Bible's clear on that. That's the root of all evil, but not
Hmm.
money itself. T.D. Jakes says, a famous quote of his is, uh, "It's okay for you to have money, but it's not okay for money to have you."
Right.
I think that's the ticket. I put a comment on one of your videos. I just found you yesterday, and
Did you?
yeah, I just found you yesterday, and I've like binge watched like 15 hours of your channel so far.
Shout out
So
to you. I appreciate you.
yeah, I'm a truck driver, so I listen all day,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to stuff, and I love finding especially Christian content creators. But anyway, I put a comment on one of your posts that I think one of the greatest lies the devil ever purported on the church was that it was holy somehow to be poor.
Oh, you are right up my alley right now. You are absolutely up my alley. I believe, honestly, to be honest with you, I believe being poverty is demonic. I believe that and
Yeah.
I'm not saying that poor people are bad, but I think
No.
I'm not talking about the people, right? I'm talking about the idea of being under duress and then having to make decisions based off of your circumstances is
Mm-hmm.
literally a tool of the devil to get you to do whatever it is that he wants you to do, because he knows that when you compromise and you need, and it's similar to multiple different stories in the Bible, such as a story where one of the brothers sold his birthright because um,
Yep. Eli.
he said that
Esau. Yep.
yep, yep, and he sold his birthright to his brother, which was literally weaponized against him by his brother in order for him to sell his birthright, which was manufactured by his mother. Right? His mother favored him, and so they literally set him up to sell his birthright, which is exactly what we see happening every single day in society. Right? I believe that to have a lack of, or poverty itself, is demonic, and that all of the worst things happen when in spaces, and the worst things, the people are the most impressionable that are in spaces where they have the least. And so when you start
Mm-hmm.
to think about that and you start putting two and two together, I think that
Yep.
the church selling that narrative, and honestly, I believe that part of the narrative of selling that is first to pacify the people, and secondly, to continue to enrich themselves, is doing a disservice to God's people.
Absolutely, absolutely, 100%. They always use third world countries to belittle you, because Christianity naturally usually flourishes in places like that because that's all they have to
Yep.
put hope on, it is God's provision. But that
Go into
doesn't mean.
any horrible neighborhood, go into any poverty stricken
Mhm.
city in the United States of America. Two things you're gonna find: liquor stores and a lot of churches. I promise
It's
you.
true.
If you
It's
go into
true.
any bad neighborhood or any part of of a city that is under duress, you are
Yep.
going to find liquor stores and
Yep.
churches.
And gun stores.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I'm not anti-gun at
I'm not
all,
either.
not by any means. You know, the it's such a conglomeration of things. I think the biggest enemy today facing society, especially in the West, besides sin in general, but if I was to point it specifically, I would point it at feminism.
Hmm. Break that down for me.
Because, okay, so basically, if 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 we look at the model that God has, and you mentioned it in the last live stream, for the family, the
Hmm.
hierarchy that God placed, anytime whether it's family or society goes against the biblical model, we have degradation of morality,
Okay.
and we see that rampant today. You know, and just like when most fundamental right-leaning conservative Christians, whatever you want to call us, when we were against marriage being made legal for homosexual people, and that's not saying they have less value. I don't think the government should be involved in marriage, period.
Mm-hmm.
But when they put a rubber stamp on it that this is somehow equal to to opposite sex marriage, they rubber stamped evil as being the same as good.
Mm. I,
And
I don't
I'm not
disagree
saying
with you.
homosexual people are evil, but what it is sin, period. And
Yeah.
so, like, I think it's kind of funny. I joke with this, but I think feminism has kind of been in with us since the beginning of time, since the
Well, it
dawn
didn't
of
have a
creation.
label on it, and it didn't have
Right.
it didn't have a cause. It wasn't
Hmm.
structured in a way in which you can organize it and then people can rally around.
I
That's the
agree.
difference.
I agree. I think it's had many names over time. We call it feminism today. Really, it's called idolatry
You think so? Break that down
because,
for me. Why do you think that?
okay, I'll simplify in that Eve was the first feminist.
Mm-hmm.
She put herself before the command of God and her husband,
Okay.
because God gave the command to Adam
Mm-hmm.
to not eat of that tree, and that was before they sinned.
Correct.
So there's a natural hierarchy there already in creation that she's to be his helpmeet, which also requires him to lead her,
Right.
which means the only person that would have told her what God said was Adam.
Mm-hmm.
So she had to have disobeyed both God and her husband. I don't need my man. I don't need to listen to my man. And
Mm-hmm.
then with Adam, I kind of funnily call him the first simp because he chose his wife over what God
I mean,
said.
I can't disagree with you. I can't disagree with you even a little bit. What's up, Freezy? How you
Because
feeling, big dog?
What's up, Anton? How you
Chilling,
doing, man?
chilling,
Good
my friend.
afternoon.
Slow motion, just kicking it, having a conversation about this whole Ye West and Adidas termination of the partnership and what that looks like, what the fallout is going to be.
Well, a lot of people have insinuated that Ye is crazy, right?
Uh huh.
But I'm gonna subscribe to this. For what we're gonna see, what Ye is gonna have to face in the near future, is gonna take somebody who's a little bit crazy to face some shit like this.
I
Because
don't think
this
he's
just
crazy at all. I think that what I think. Let me tell you what I think. I believe that what we've subjected ourselves to and agreed to as normal is actually crazy, and that
that's true.
he's the thing. How do we define who's crazy and who's not, right? A lot of the way in which we define it is based off of what we've established as a standard, right? What the standard is here is the equivalent of what Sodom and Gomorrah was, right? And so now that's the new normal. You know what I'm saying? And so we have the privilege of being able to look back in history and have biblical texts as well as other documentation to highlight what we thought was normal. We now look at as crazy. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't even know how we look at anything as normal anymore. Everything is upside down.
I absolutely agree with you, man. And that's what makes him a true leader too. Because the people that thinks he's crazy, they really don't understand that outside the box with this. You know, um, a lot of people don't know how this whole soiree even started. Uh, especially with the
Well, hold on.
anti-Semitic.
Let me answer this one question, and then I'm gonna let you rock.
Uh, all right.
Deshaun says, Anton, you preach get into the bag. He literally fumbled the bag, and now you're going against what you preach. No, I'm actually emphasizing what I believe even more. And let me tell you why. Because being a bag chaser, and this is how I know you must be new, Deshaun. Being a bag chaser is not chasing money. It's chasing becoming the best version of yourself, understanding that the money come with it. And what I like to do is I like to put the medicine in the candy. And so I make it attractive, but I'm really teaching you biblical principles. Because in the Bible, what it says is seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and everything else will be added unto you. And so when you go about doing it the right way, how you become successful is just as important as you becoming rich, right? So what I tell y'all and what I emphasize to my bag chasers is that when you get on your purpose and you get on your grind and you do the things that you're supposed to do, what you're supposed to have is the fruits and all of the money, all of the phenomenal marriage, all of the opportunities that will be afforded to you. And so it's about getting to it the right way. What I believe is happening with Ye West is that he's taking one step back so he can take 10 steps forward. I think that he's going to be wildly successful. I believe that this was a ploy for him to be able to get out of these contracts. And I don't think that y'all paying attention to the 10 to 15 year, 20, 30, 40, 50-year plan that he got going on. But that's just my opinion and perspective. So it's not just about getting to the bag. It's about how it is that you're strategically planning things. And I tell my bag chasers all the time, that's why y'all need to join the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I tell my bag chasers all the time, I don't make decisions based off of what's going to happen tomorrow. I make decisions based off of what's going to happen in 10 and 15 years from now. But go ahead, Freezy. I'm sorry. I just had to give them that little bit of game so they can understand exactly what's going on. We different over here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, you know, he had him and P Diddy had some words because P Diddy disagreed with the WLM shirts, the White Lives Matter shirts. So P Diddy tried to reach out to him and tell him, "Hey, bro, man, this is a big mistake you're making, right?" So Kanye basically said he sent P Diddy a big F you and said, "I don't want to talk to you," and he said F you and the I don't like to say the J word. We can't say the J word on YouTube, right? You know,
I
I
have
like to
no
call him
idea. I don't know what the J word is that you're gonna say, but let's just be safe and say that we
I
get it.
like to
We get
call
it.
them the little hats, the little hat people with the Hanukkahs and stuff.
Okay.
Okay, but he said F you and the little hat people because I know those are the ones who sent you to talk to me. So he wrote that on Instagram, and Instagram ended up getting rid of his Instagram account. So he went on another rant and he said, when I wake up, I'm going DEF CON 3 on all the little hats. So that comment just sparked basically a whole new anti-Semitic war with him and the little hats. So basically, Adidas claimed that they got rid of him off of those comments, right? And so what Kanye is facing right now, first of all, let's get it straight. Kanye has always been a revolutionary when it comes to collectivism, power, and money.
Okay.
He's always been a revolutionary, bro. And yeah, I don't think Kanye is crazy. I think only a person like it takes a person like Kanye that to handle the type of pressure he's going to face in the near future, because he is going to face some pressure. This nigga gonna face some damn pressure.
So
I'm
let me
telling
ask
you.
y'all a
But
question though. Will y'all support him though?
hell yeah,
All right.
hell yeah, yeah. I love that dude. This dude, Tupac. I wrote it in your comment section. Tupac ain't got shit on Kanye, bro.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. What's
But
going
I
on,
let
fellas?
somebody else.
What do y'all think? Welcome to
Anton,
the
what up?
show. What do y'all think?
Well,
How you doing, man?
Chilling, chilling.
what's
What's
up,
the
Anton?
word?
What's up, fellas? Can
Who's
you hear
gonna
me?
go first?
I'll go first. Can you
Anybody.
hear me?
Popcorn
Yeah, go
style.
ahead. I mean, go ahead.
So, I think what we got to stop doing is we got to realize we're having conversations with the 1%. And Kanye has more information of what he's trying to get them to expose to us. It's a reason why they won't expose the information that he's exposing. He has the knowledge that they hide in those books that we're not taught to go read and get the information. So if you shut them off, that's the lack of the knowledge that we know, and it's easy to believe the masses. That's why they call him crazy. That's why they say he has mental illness, because he's speaking out on the things that we're so accustomed to believing, because like you said earlier, we are the ones we we celebrate being poor, but he celebrates himself being rich. And then you got two people can listen. Some people say big up to him for bigging up himself, and then some people be like he's boasting. That man knows what he's talking about because he's living it. And like you said, we're not gonna say certain things, but it's been conversations on the people Let's Talk before about how many times money touched certain amount of people's hands before it leaves to other communities. Kanye is no different than me listening to Anton talk to brother White. I'll call him brother White because I rock with him heavy because he's telling you the hard truth despite of what people want to hear. People listen to the message, but they listen to the delivery. No, listen to the message first because that's where the information is. We got to stop being so like emotional. He not fumbling the bag because if we never hear from Kanye again, he's still good. We wouldn't even sacrifice our bag the way he is, and we're telling him he's fumbling the bag. How much money do you need? And he's willing to sacrifice because he knows what he got. That's why I say you don't see other people with that type of money willing to sacrifice it because, like brother said, the truck driver guy. Oh, I can't remember your name, brother, because you were talking when I first got on the stream. Cause got up a meeting for work, but he said it. It's not about having the money; it's the love. Like the money having you. He got what he needs to provide for his family the rest of his life. We talking about he fumbling a bag? What bag? He got it. He's trying to open our eyes up for us to understand to one, not sell our soul to go get it. He got it and he's willing to sacrifice it. That means we should be rocking with people like that. We should be standing behind people like that on a simple fact that he got everything that we wish we had and he's willing to step out there and give us the information we need, but we'll call him crazy or we'll jump on the bandwagon. That man is so creative and he got us talking about even the George Floyd. I'm former law enforcement. I don't want to go on a rant, but that's a big thing I said, Anton. Don't go back and look at that video, Anton, because that's the type of stuff you don't even need poisoning your brain. And stop listening to ignorant people that just jump and follow everything that's on the news. Anyway, I'm former law enforcement. Only thing that I would say, yes, that it was wrong. Do I think the dude knee on his neck was all of to his death? No, but I just know that that man was not trained that way, and that's not a tactic that law enforcement train. If you're gonna do the job, you have to do it the right way. That's what makes it noticeable, and you could just see how he carried. Police officers not even supposed to put their hands in their pockets that comfortably, especially not when you're dealing with somebody, right? And that's just the truth. I did 8 years in law enforcement. That's the truth on state and federal level, so I can tell you that. But at the same time, we got to keep in mind that it's a reason why they do blow it up in the media. And I watched that whole interview with Kanye. He literally said he was jealous because even the kids that got shot in that school, but we got people in our community every single day dying, and they don't force it in our face on a regular basis to make us angry about our own people, because they make money off of our anger. That's enough. I won't keep going, but yeah, appreciate it, Anton, for the time, fellas.
But
I
see,
can't even
this
hear you. I don't
I
know,
don't
Mike.
think I don't think this is about money though. This is not about money. Ye got enough money for him, his children, his grandchildren, right? He ain't hurting. This dude is not hurting. This is about power, bro. You understand? Like, okay, so I think the reason why he's stressing to black people that we are the so-called little hats, right? That the Bible speaks of. I don't even think he because what's this guy Michael Rappaport. I don't know if y'all seen a publication that Michael Rappaport did about Kanye, but he went on a rant about Kanye because he felt offended because apparently Michael Rappaport is a little hat too. So, he told Kanye West that to never talk bad about the little hats. And Kanye, I think the misconception is that Kanye does not like the little hats. I think he really looks up to those people and he loves the way they move. He loves the way
He
they
said it, bro.
collectively, right. He loves the way they collectively pool their resources together for sheer power against everybody else. And I think that's what he's trying to get his people, whoever listens to him, to understand this is what true power is about. You're not going to take over by yourself. Kanye
Mm.
West understands that.
I agree. Can I say this though with that point? And you're right. But guess what? I guarantee it's over 1,000 people on here right now. If they didn't watch Anton's live, they wouldn't have watched the interview anyway. So therefore, they went off of emotionally off the sound bites that the media is pushing, not the whole segment. You know how they would take 12 seconds of what you say and run the whole thing, but they won't sit there and literally listen to the whole message. They do it all the time, all the time. They'll show all the bad or take that clip and try to destroy you, and then people sit there and judge a person and come right back 2 hours later after or 2 days later after they actually go and, i.e., like he asked to do interviewing him. Oh, did you watch the Candace Owens? He lied and talk about a little bit. No, you didn't, bro. Because if you did, you wouldn't be able to respond or try to argue to have the feel to be right because your audience knows you're pushing the agenda to try to get Kanye to speak differently than what he's speaking about. And that's all I'm saying. Kanye knows, but the media is gonna literally take that little clip, even the tweet, bro. They didn't even read the whole tweet to most people. Because I don't even got Twitter, so I didn't see the tweet. So when I heard it, I'm like, oh man. But then guess what? I watched Drink Champ, so I heard the whole context. I said that I think that's the difference in the message.
You on mute? You on mute, Anton?
No, can somebody mute when y'all not talking? Can y'all jump on mute? I'm curious as to what North got to say about this.
All right, what's up, Anton? Nice to meet you, bro.
What's going on?
I want to tell you something before I begin about this whole Kanye situation.
Mm,
Anton, I believe you should reach out to Kanye because he's giving people chances to interview him, and I think
mm.
he will sit with you and talk with you, you know, or at least like y'all could hook it up. So I'm just letting you know that because that's what it seems like he's doing. All right, so I think you'll have a chance to do that. All right, so here's my take on Kanye and what I think. Um, First off, yeah, I'm rolling with Kanye all the way, right? Do I think that he's crazy? Absolutely not. I think he's fully competent, knows what he's doing, and what he's doing is very strategic because let's talk about something that a lot of people are speaking against, particularly Charlemagne the God. I heard him say on Breakfast Club recently that Kanye, if y'all think Kanye is doing some kind of brilliant mastermind move to get out of these contracts, y'all tripping,
I
brother.
seen that
Right?
hater. I seen that
Okay,
hater.
okay. So
I
yeah,
seen
I absolutely
that
think,
hater. He just jealous.
yeah, I absolutely think that that's what he's doing. Um, can we prove that? I'm pretty sure we'll never find that out until everything's over with. You know what I'm saying? But I do think that that's what he's doing. And with this whole anti-Semitic comments and all that stuff, I don't think he intends or tried to be racist in any kind of way. Nor do I think what he said was racist because he never even said anything hateful in the sense of other than saying Jewish people. So if you're saying something about because you said Jewish people. Now all of a sudden it's anti-Semitic. And I just watched your live stream when you were streaming the Pierce Morgan
Yep.
joint, and I don't know if you caught it, but what he said is he said that they cloak using that term. They use that term as a cloak to shut down anything when anybody has something to say about anything that they're doing. That
Mm.
basically it's like a mask that they hide behind it. Those were his words, right? And he's saying basically he said what he said to break that up, so that way that the conversation can come to the forefront. I think that over time people will end up supporting him more than they are now, because the more that he gets to actually say what he's saying, it'll start to make more sense to people. And I think that he's starting to break through to people for a variety of reasons, because of someone like yourself who has this platform, and then other people who have platforms who's talking about it. Like get this, there are people now that I haven't seen the documentary yet, but there are people now who were unwilling to watch that Candace Owens documentary that are now viewing that documentary, and I'm talking about they're on the side of the left or whatever, and they're watching it and they're discussing it, right? When they were saying, "Oh, not going to watch it," or it's garbage and this, that, and the third. Now people are watching it because he watched it and he mentioned something about it, and now everybody's curious to see if there's any validity to what she said and what he's saying and what they're pointing out. Now, another thing about that whole drink champ situation, in relation to what's going on now with this whole Adidas deal and all that stuff, on there, Kanye said that he said, look, he said, after this interview, I'm sure that there's going to be some stuff happening. And I'm telling y'all now that everything that you're going to see them do is what I'm complaining about, what the whole issue is on
Yep.
what he said. Because anytime you say anything, anytime you point anything out, then the first thing that they do is they run, they use the media machine to come against you. And then they use the media machine to get everybody else to think in that direction. So, and then agree with them to make it seem like they're right with what they're doing,
Well,
you know?
look, you can see people in the chat that say stuff like this. I hope Kanye goes broke. I don't F with him since he says slavery is a choice. You see people all the time. Listen,
Some
you will
Right.
never
Yeah.
ignorant
get,
ass
you will,
motherfuckers, man.
we don't need all of us. We just need, you don't need, and I'm not even talking about black people because, I rock with people based off of character, not color, right?
Right.
Well, you need a strong set of us. When you look at what happens in society today, right? It's not that the majority of the people agree. It's that it's enough people are allowed enough to where it makes it seems like they're making bigger waves than they really are, and then they basically bully society into seeing it their way. That's the
Right.
only thing that's happening, right? When you see, listen, look at the blueprint. Look at the blueprint of feminism. Look at how women have come into power in the last 50 to 60 years. You have a weaker vessel, right? That don't have the ability to vote, don't have no money, don't have no power at all. How do you then get to this level of success as far as what it is that you're pushing in the narrative and the media and agendas and so on and so forth? With those weak attributes. It's the
Let,
same
let,
thing for every other group. It's the same thing for the alphabet community, right? How do you, as a minority subset of people, become powerful enough to be able to censor people at this level?
let me
Exactly.
point something out
It's
on
a
that.
it's
Let
a
me
it's
point
a
something out with
blueprint
that
for
point.
it. We just too arrogant to acknowledge it because we think we better than it instead of humbling ourselves to actually understand what people are doing and learning from it so that we can then apply it and be more successful accordingly.
But is anybody going to acknowledge the fact that women and the LGBTQ community and anybody else who gets any type of leverage, that it was men that gave it to them?
No, let me
Because
tell
men,
you what happens. Let me tell you what happens.
wait a minute, I wasn't finished. Let me say what I'm
Well,
saying.
but you
Is that
missing it. You missing it because we can
I'm not
acknowledge
missing it.
things all day, right?
Yeah,
We could say yeah, slavery happened, or people may be disenfranchised, and so on and so forth. And then I largely lead with solutions, but I'm even beyond solutions, right? I've already practically built my own army. I've already started to do it in a major way. I took the blueprint. And I don't always telegraph. I don't always say anything, but I literally took the blueprint of how they've done it, and I've already done it myself. And I've created so many subsets of different people and different channels and different groups and different bag chasers and all of this other type of stuff. And there's nothing and no one that can come against us. There's nothing and nobody that can come against us. And people are not even peeping the move. But it's okay. You'll see it. You'll see it eventually.
Can I say
Watch.
something at time?
Go ahead.
Another. My bad, brother. Go ahead and finish, bro, because I know you was in the middle of your
Yeah,
thought.
my
Go ahead.
man. Go ahead, bro.
yeah. I was saying this is what I'm saying. Look, women are in the position that they have right now is, of course they, would say, oh, it's women that did it. But look, in order for any doors to open, any locks to be unlocked, it was a man who was the gatekeeper, who gave that permission, who gave that leeway in order for that to happen. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm getting at is that even though people want to say that it was them that did it, yeah, you pushed for it, but there was a male who was in charge. who said, okay, you know what, we're gonna go ahead and open this up and let this happen. And that's how it came about. And now it's at the point where they're using and going against the very masculinity that enabled them to be where they are right now. You know, I just
Well,
want to
like again,
just
all you
acknowledge
got to
that, man,
do is
because
have a
people are
strong.
not talking about saying
It ain't
anything
about
in that
talking.
regard to that.
I'm telling you, talking is dead. The only thing you have to do is mobilize enough people. It don't have to be everybody. It only have to be a subset of people that's
That's
willing to
right.
beat on enough doors to where you got to answer it, and then we're gonna kick in the door and take over everything.
Yeah, but in order for you to get anywhere, you have to start with talking, and it's the
No,
talking
you
that
don't.
mobilizes all that.
No, you don't. It's all. I'm telling you, bro. Listen, everything happened under your feet. It happened without it even being visible. It happened without it even being visible. Every single thing that happened based off of action and not necessarily talking. You know what people do all the time? All they do is talk. They talk, they protest, they make up signs, and then they talk some more. And you know what I've been hearing black people do for an extended period of time? Talk. All they do is talk. And then they made up different groups and even to be able to separate themselves. Now they FBA, they ADOS, they American African descendants of slaves, they all of this other type of stuff, and they still at the bottom of the totem pole. You know why? Because all they do is talk. Nobody actually does anything, and when one
They
person
putting
actually
some sort of
wins,
action behind it, and they trying to find some sort of direction for in order
no.
some sort of
Okay, so
foundation to
black people
stand
been
on.
dealing with this for their whole life, and women came in and kicked their ass in less than 50 years. How's that possible?
I think we all know the answer to that
No, we don't know the answer because if they knew, then they would be
because
implementing it.
because because women galvanize with women. That's
No, that's not
why.
right. That's not true.
It
That's
is
not
true.
true. Listen, let me tell you what really happens. You get enough people loud enough, and then they say get down or lay down. And they don't directly tell you get down or lay down. They come in and they take over everything. And then you naturally have to observe. I don't know if you've seen the movie, what was the joint? With it was a DC movie, and they all had to come together to try to the last one that they had to redo that Zack Snyder did,
Oh, you talking about the Justice League?
the Justice League, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
And my man literally was going to place, and he basically was absorbing and changing everybody into what he wanted them to be. That's literally what's happening. If you throw it in somebody's face enough, right? Because all I got to do is put my money behind something. If you throw it in somebody's face enough, you'll reprogram them in order for them to actually accept what your lifestyle is. So,
Right.
like for example, there's plenty of people that I know are straight people, or there's plenty of people that I know as Christians. There's plenty of people that I know that actually don't even agree with it. Bro, you have the church literally hanging rainbow flags outside of the church and saying, yo, this is what we about now. Why do you think that that happens? All you have to do is start to touch people enough, start to affect their bag, start to put some pressure on them, and they will fold every single time. If you want to change people, touch their bag because most people or give them a bag. Give them a bag because they don't have to come down on Kanye personally. They're going to send Puffy, and Puffy is going to make sure that he removes his interview from him and disassociate himself with him. And they're
That's
going to
true.
send Nori, who looks like an ally to him, and actually he's going to be the one that cut off Kanye. I'm trying to tell you, bro, it is a tried and true blueprint over and over and over again. You give some people something, and then they will absolutely positively turn against you.
You know what? I want to add a caveat too, other than Kanye.
Let me add this one last thing, just real quick.
Okay.
How do you get a man got? Like, how do you get him? How do you get to a guy?
What you
How,
talking about? To knock him off?
how do you successfully get to a man?
You do an
Depends.
inside job. You send somebody close to his
Who
ass.
do you send?
Shit.
People
Women,
that
You
he
send
know.
some,
Who do you
you
send?
send you send hell
women,
somebody
Oh, say it again.
women.
You get to him through a woman.
right.
If you want to get to a man, listen, the blueprint has been there since the beginning of time, since Adam and Eve. The serpent didn't go to the guy, he sent the woman. He sent the woman. He first beguiled her, and then she beguiled him. If you want to get to a man, if you want to get to his heart, if you want to get him to go out and shop, if you want to get him to buy something, if you want to convince him to do something other than what it is that he would normally do, all you have to do is get to his woman. That's it. You will completely destroy everything about him. Plenty of men in history have fumbled their kingdoms through the woman every single time. It is the blueprint to success. If you want to take over the world, you don't do it through men, you do it through women in order to empower the men. The only reason half of these men even continue to fight in a lot of these countries, they incentivize it by saying these are the spoils of war, take all of the women that you want. They don't even give a fuck about money. They care about women. They go and get the money for the women. Never mind. Go ahead, y'all. Y'all can continue. Let me stop.
I said yesterday, if you run into a man who cannot be influenced or moved from his square or position because of a woman or money, that's a powerful ass dude. I'm telling you. That dude cannot be shaken. And I want to add this. To me, it's disparaging when I look at black people, right? Because what this Kanye situation is exposing a lot of stuff. Kanye, the amount of thresholds that Kanye has broken through, the amount of feats that he has accomplished, right? And we got comments that you just brought up, Anton, where this dude talking about, I hope Kanye gonna go broke or some shit like that, or he's gonna go broke or some shit. White people would not talk about Steve Jobs like that. You understand what I'm saying? Bro, we would get behind somebody like Barack Obama who hardly did nothing for black people. But we got somebody like Ye who has the pulse of his own demographic. Dude made $1 billion and you hope this dude go broke? What kind of levelist hate is that? Who says that? Who does that? We is fucked up, Anton. Bad, dog. And to me, I just feel like Kanye is headed to legendary status. Now, a lot of people might disagree with me, but Kanye is a genius, bro. And not only that, Kanye need to come out with another damn song. He does not need to get away from his musical the musical aspect of his talent. Because this is the time. Kanye is a fashion god. The man got a lot of power, man. That's all I want to say.
Any other thoughts?
Yeah. Sorry, I had to unmute myself. Listen, I agree with what you're saying, Anton, and you know what you said about how to get to a man and all that stuff. Like, listen, I just think that the ideas between all of us and what we think, I think it's all in unison. It's just that uh we just have different positions on how we see it, you know, and I'm pretty sure that's based on life experiences. But with this whole Kanye situation, man, I think Kanye is gonna be all right. I think he's gonna be a okay. I think I heard you say that earlier on the last stream or whatever. But yeah, he's gonna be good. You know what I mean? For a lot of different reasons. One is because look, how many of us right now have reached $1 billion? What does it take to be a multi-billionaire?
Yeah.
Okay, that's somebody who has to be fully cognitive in a multifaceted to be able to do something like that. I mean, there's people out here who can barely make $10,000. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and we talking about somebody who's saying that he's the richest black man in America, the richest man since Mansa Musa. He's got, he's worth $11 billion, and bro, at the end of the day, with someone like him, one, he's not crazy. Two, he knows exactly what he's doing. And three, I believe everything that he's doing. is very strategic. And let me point this out because I said this on Choke No Jokes podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Kanye, you know, people want to say that he doesn't like black people or he's against his own people when he keeps saying, I'm for my people, right? His father is an ex Black Panther. So, you know, that's very pro black, right? His mom was very pro black. He said that he even had to work with his mom, worked with Jesse Jackson, and he worked with the Rainbow Coalition and all that. What I'm pointing out is, regardless of what he does and what he's doing, believe me, he's doing what he's doing for what he calls a economic liberation. That's what his whole purpose is about. Okay, it's just about being able to be free, to be creative, to be able to own your own stuff, and to steer your own destiny in the way that you want to, without restriction or ownership by other people. Where you can own yourself, or a group of you can come together collectively without having to worry about somebody undermining you just because of the color of your skin or the group
I
of
don't
people
think
that
that
you.
that's his purpose. I think that money is just a tool. I think that that's a subset that empowers him to be able to do what it is that he's want to do. I don't think that that's his true purpose. I don't think, because you got to understand, man. Listen, I don't align with people based off of money because money does not make you a better person, right? Listen, I know some of the
Right.
most egregious people, and they just so happen to be the same color as me, and they got a lot of money. Financial empowerment, just because you black, doesn't necessarily solve for the problem, right? It's plenty of black people that get money in Atlanta, and they is some of the worst people that I've ever seen on earth. I don't think that
That's
that's
why.
the move. I think that Ye ultimately understands that his purpose is divine, and it's bigger than the money, it's bigger than the record labels, it's bigger than all of that.
Yeah.
What his goal is to ultimately do is to set things back in order by being disruptive in one industry at a time. That's what I think the play is.
Yeah, I would agree. I think what I was saying, you might have taken it that I was just pointing at just money, but I'm just basically talking about the things that he actually says out of his own mouth. Okay, these are the things that he talks about. So I can
Mm-hmm.
only reiterate what he talks about. Like, for me to assume more than what he says, I mean, you know, it's an assumption. But if I base it on facts of what he said, then that makes it factual. You know. So
Yeah.
yes, I do think that it is a divine thing because he's moving people in ways that has been very hard to do in a long time. Even with this discussion, this panel right here of us talking, it's a lot of other people right now who are live talking about the same thing, who are dissenters, and people who are talking about the same thing who are with them. But it's got the discussion going, and that is what matters. You know, for people to now start looking at this and talking about it and start coming into a collective agreement to start making some things really happen.
Mm-hmm.
So
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 I
so
do I
one of
do agree
Kanye
with you. Yes.
one of Kanye next moves is he's supposed to be
Shaq,
opening
I'm
up
gonna pull you down because I want to get somebody up for a second. Let me pull you down for a minute.
one of Kanye's next moves I read is he's supposed to be coming up with some Donda camps, and he's supposed to be yeah, opening up Donda camps. Donda is the name of his mother, for all who didn't know, but that's where he's supposed to be putting some of his retail stuff at.
Hmm.
So we're going to see how that goes as well. But he does have contingency plans moving forward. This dude is not just sitting stagnant, talking. Just like Anton said, this dude got his feet to the ground. He's not just talking. We can't get fooled by him going on his Kanye tour. It's bigger than that. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to inform everybody on that. This dude got some plans ahead, and you know, I like it.
What's going on, Dylon? Dylon, Dylon. What's the word?
Not much. How y'all doing?
Chilling, chilling. What's happening, big dog?
Nothing. Just wanted to come up real quick and speak to something about agenda
Uh huh.
and how we can't keep saying like I was had a conversation with B9 the other night, And I was telling him that people in my community, we can't keep saying there's not an agenda when every time you turn around, there's evidence of an agenda.
Hmm.
For example, when
What do you
Kanye
think
was
the
saying,
agenda is?
I don't know why, but it seems like it's just to dismantle the traditional values that America has built itself on. That's how it's coming across to me. Like, for, when Kanye was talking about being a straight white man and how he could be labeled that, and I'm like, I agree with him, because if I criticize someone from my community, all of a sudden I'm now a white straight man. One of the
Hmm.
furthest things from it. But now I've become this just because I had a criticism of a community. And it's like the pendulum always swings all the way around, in my opinion. Every time you come out and you try to criticize someone, it's not like you're attacking a group of people. You're just saying A connects to B, which results in C. And for some reason, people flip out at that. Like, going back to what someone brought up about this whole slavery comment, even though that was taken out of context, nobody was trying to cancel him then. Then he says all this stuff about Jewish people,
That's a good
and all of a
point.
sudden, oh, we have to remove him. He's now a liability. We got to cancel him. When he did when he what people were considering that the most egregious thing he could say about a black person, and he was fine. But hell, he got deals off of that. But he comes around and he says something about Jewish people, and all of a sudden it's like it's a problem. Whether you agree with it or not is one thing, but you cannot deny what they're doing to him right now is exactly what he said they were going to do to him because of this.
Hmm.
And
Interesting.
that's and that's really all I really wanted to comment on, is just how people need to pay attention to agenda and what they're trying to do to us. Like, we're on the precipice of a World War III, which could be a nuclear war, and we're tripping off of this.
Hmm. All right.
I think it's
I
crazy.
like that. Thank you for the comment. I appreciate you, big dog. What's going on? Well, turn your YouTube down. I don't know what's going on. What's happening?
Yeah,
Everything
mute your
muted.
mic
Alex,
for the moment.
Hey, how you doing, Anton?
chilling.
Appreciate you
What's the
letting me
word?
up.
Hey,
I'm asking.
North. I'm gonna try to get some more people up here. I'm gonna drop you down for a second. I appreciate you, big dog. Um,
I'm gonna piggyback off the
anybody is welcome to
gentleman.
continue to call in. Go ahead. What was you saying?
I'm gonna piggyback off to the gentleman that just spoke as far as agendas. I believe Kanye is a big disruptor when it comes to pointing out obvious things that people are afraid to say because they are relying upon some other source for income. You remember the phrase they say, when you have enough money, you got FU money. You can
Mm-hmm.
say whatever you want with no fear of reprisal. Kanye is at that level to where he can say FU to everybody and it's still not going to affect his bottom line. So he's free to say whatever he wants. But the objective of why he's saying it, that's not clear yet. You can't go from wearing White Lives Matter t-shirts to saying something egregious against Jewish people and then not have a purpose behind it. Aren't Jewish people considered white? You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So in that respect, I think he has an agenda. What it is, I don't know. But he's bringing out some good points. And my last factor I want to say is, they make a big deal about bringing up the Jewish word. The Holocaust is one thing. Black people have suffered longer than the people that have suffered in the Holocaust. Okay? The egregious things that were done to us over the generations and still being done to us. While Jewish people have a handle on everything, they control even their own words. And if you say something about a Jewish person, they'll shut you down. But you can use nigga all day long and nobody says a word.
Hmm.
It's acceptable in society to say that. But if you say one thing about a Jew, they're not going to tolerate that. They're going to shut it down because they control a lot of things. And the final phrase I'm going to say is,
That's what I'm about to start doing. I'm about to start enabling my people. If anybody say anything negative about me, you shut them down. Enough of
the
this.
final thing is, history is controlled by the victors. Go back and look at your history books. Everything that's written in that history book is not written as fact. It's rewritten by the victors of those battles in those societies. With that, I'm going to shut up.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. What's going on? Various? Is it Various?
Yeah, what's up, Antoine? I
Chilling,
remember meeting
chilling,
you
my
when
friend.
you came. Yeah, I remember meeting you when you came down here to California, man. How's it
It's
going?
chilling, chilling, bro. How you feel? That was a great time in California.
Dude, I'm telling you. And it's a beautiful area over here, dude.
Mhm.
So it was good. Yeah, man, my thoughts on this whole Kanye thing is that it's bigger than a lot of people see. You know, a lot of people are not like they pay attention to like the small picture. And when we talk about, okay, the microcosm of the black community, you know, we're part of the picture, but even bigger than that, okay, you got what's going on in the world. Like we got a lot of pieces moving on the chessboard right now. We
Mhm.
got you know, new people you know, who are coming into power, you know, in other countries. We got the national, you know, the capital markets that are going crazy right now. Like this is all part of a bigger picture, I really believe. And you know, you got Trump, you got Ye, you got who else has been banned? Andrew Tate. You got all these things happening at one time, and I feel like part of it, and to the end of everything that's happening, is that we're in a fight for civilization because you know whether you know you're Christian or not or whatever, you know you got to understand that these people hate hate humans because humans are created in the image of God. That's my
Right.
firm belief. You know, my firm belief is that a lot of these things that are going on is that, you know, Kanye, in some ways, he's really kind of trying to return back to his faith. You know, he wants to see his family together. He doesn't want to see it breaking up. And so, you know, at the bottom of it is the nuclear family. You know, you think about Black Lives Matter. What was initial statement on their website? They want to destroy the nuclear family. They want to disintegrate it.
Is
Now
that
we
what they
got,
said?
yeah, that was actually on their website. Part of they removed it from their website, but part of their mission statement was to dissolve the nuclear family because
Mm-hmm.
it's white supremacy. So how can you hold together a civilization without a nuclear family? You know, it's just not possible. And that's why part of a socialist agenda is to turn children against their parents. So like what you got happening in the schools right now, you got, you know, strong laws coming into force here in California that are causing people like they're passing laws to keep kids from saying stuff to their parents about what's going on at school, whether it be a vaccination, whether that be abortion. Like they no longer are needing permission of their parents. So you got parents' rights like is a big battle right now. As far as what's going on in our nation, Democrats are pushing hard for like, you know, less control of the parent figures in the children's lives, which is, you know, it's kind of evil.
Hmm.
But that's, you know, that's what happened right before the fall of Russia, or when Russia used to be a communist nation. So that was part of even part of any socialist revolution, any part of any Marxist revolution. So really, there's a greater picture going on in my mind. It's that we're in the middle of this Marxist revolution where there are voices who are speaking out against it. They're seeing the bigger picture. They're not just so in their microcosm that they say, okay. And I think Kanye sees that. You know, he may have lost some net worth right now, but he just purchased the social media website. Okay.
Oh,
And
Parlor.
Parlor, yeah, he just purchased Parlor. So like you said, two steps back to take, you know, one step forward. I really believe that as well because I really don't think he's, you know, just fumbling the bag. I really believe there's a strategy behind it. And I think God is with Ye. I mean, that's all I can say. I think God is with Ye.
Hmm.
Um, because at the core of it all is not a hatred for humanity. At the core of it is a love for humanity. And a, like you look at Elon Musk, he's not like a Christian or anything like that, but he says a couple of things, you know, that are really important to him. He said, number one, truth is important to him, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and number two, he loves humanity. He loves humanity. So why are the lines breaking down in school to allow children to get same-sex surgeries like here in California? Why are the states, certain states like California, the state I'm in right now, why are they trying to dissolve that line of authority from the parent to the children so that a
Why do you
child
think
can?
that is? Why do you think that they're doing that?
It's demonic. Like at the core of it, it's demonic. Well, because there is, once that line of authority is dissolved from the parent to the child doesn't have to inform a parent about what they're doing to their body. Like then anybody can do anything to their body. So you also see, here's like, I'm just throwing some other little things in there for the big picture.
Mhm.
See, Joe Biden sat down with a transgender activist
Yeah, I
the
seen
other
that.
day, and what did he say? If they want to stop the gender confirming treatment. You know what gender confirming treatment is really? You know what it is?
What is it?
Gender confirming treatment is giving children puberty blockers
Mhm.
or ability to move into like a sex change operation without the consent of their parent. That's what gender confirming treatment is. So Joe Biden came out full back in support saying, hey, I believe it's wrong for people to stop, anyone who feels like they're transgender. But let me take this a little bit further because I'm a tech guy. I'm here in California because I'm big in working in the tech scene. Because it's not only about like the transgender thing. The end of it all is the goal of transhumanism. Transhumanism is the next step for these people. Okay. So what they're wanting to do, the next step is transhumanism. Look it up, man machine merger. So they want to put this line of demarcation of breaking down the authority of the parent and the child in there. So if a child says, I really feel like, I'm part human, part robot, they can do anything to them. I'm not saying it's going to go that far, but look, you got to look at the whole picture. And why transhumanism? Why transhumanism is so important? Because with transhumanism, you can then begin to use big corporations to implant and do things into children or people in general, population in general. There's no longer this taboo
Where are
of.
you coming up with this information?
Okay, there are several places that you can check it out. So there's a guy named Jobot that I follow, but there's a lot of technology that I'm involved with. One of them, like for instance,
That you're
the
involved
transhuman.
with?
Well, I mean that I research because I write a publication, and so I have to research all of this stuff.
Mm.
Have a publication on startups and tech. So all we do is talk about tech and startups. So my job is to bring together these dots and bring them together. So the final, I'm just not going to take the mic too long because here's the final thing. The final model of this is China, communist China. Look at what communist China is doing right now with social credit scores. Look up a documentary on YouTube about social credit scores. Eventually, they want to merge man and machine, and they want to bring about what's considered a form of government similar to communism, but it's technocratic rule. So China is modeling this actually almost to a T right now. And that's why you got the vaccines, the digital IDs. Those things are on the horizon. All of those are on the horizon. Digital IDs. The digital ID is a big one. Um, Bill Gates has invested, hugely into digital ID.
Mm-hmm.
All that said, I just want to bring it back. I think the infrastructure that's being built right now, Kanye is part of it. Kanye is part of it because there's going to be dual economies. You have the economy where you're under technocratic rule and authority, and you have the economy where you're under your own personal self rule.